The other day we looked at a Philco, an old Philco television, and inside it were these newspapers, and looks like a calendar from the World Trade Center incident of 2001, and I thought we would take a look at some of these. Well, these are, we all know what this is. The World Trade Center 2001, 9/11 2001. A little too sad. A little too sad for me, so we're going to look at this newspaper from 1974. And the headline is "Nixon Quits." I guess that's not nearly as sad, but I don't know. I don't judge. I'm just going to be looking at a newspaper. So this is actually a daily news, New York, Friday, August 9th of 1974. There's a date right there on the top there. So let's take a look at this. This will probably be cool. Let's make it a little wider there so we can see the whole thing. We don't want to miss anything. Anyway, Nixon decides to step down. You know, I guess it's interesting stuff, but I'm more interested in like what was for sale then, the types of technologies that were available in '74. If anybody sees anything that I pass by that they think is interesting, we could dive into a deeper look. I don't know. Retirement has to wait. Look at that. A look at Betty Ford. Integrity. Mr. President, Ford kids prefer Hey Pop. I don't know. What's that? Let's see. No. Mr. Ford is Mr. Clean of middle class? Maybe. Ah, here you go. Look at that. Gimbals. Gimbals. Great August Mink. It's the Mink sale. The Mink sale of 1974. $1,699. You can get a natural or dyed mink pant coat for $800. A natural, this is crazy. That's a lot of money for back then. That's a lot of money for back then. What's this? Furniture. Ooh, look at this. I mean, I know these are just depictions, but look at that styling. I guess 1974 was definitely a time for nice, gaudy looking furniture. Let's see if we can find something. Ooh, look, nice high pile carpet. Here's some electronics from Alexander's. $80 and extra $24 if you want that 8-track tape deck. Look, a cassette recorder for $15.99 or one for $22.99. Alexander's. Look at this. Here's Corvettes. Corvettes was actually a, I wouldn't say it was a big box store, but it was one of those variety type stores. And I do believe that Corvettes, the name Corvettes was derived from let me think a second. There were 8 Korean War veterans that started this company, and I believe that's what that means. Corvettes, Korean veterans. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Oh, that's how they came up with the name. But they did offer Pretty thick looking carpet for $8.88 a square yard, completely installed over sponge rubber padding. Hey look, an AC/DC phonograph with an AM radio for $18. And we were working on one the other day. $18. You can have a brand new one. You could have a brand new one. Alright, I don't know. Burglary hits home to officer. I'm sure it did. Nixon is quitting. Ford will be sworn today. Oh, look at that. Here's some refrigerators. Another gimbals. Today and tomorrow only. 2 days. You can save. You can buy a beautiful refrigerator for $279.99. How wonderful. Look at that. Save $6 to $110 on TV, stereos, and radios. Color sets, black and white bottles. Many, what does that say? Many with solid state circuitry. Can you believe that? I guess it is 74. Portable and console models, TVs and stereos. All from the top manufacturers like RCA, Zenith, General Electric, Magnavox, Electrophonic, Panasonic, and Sound Design. I didn't realize Sound Design was a top manufacturer, but I guess so. I wish there were pictures though. $150 for a Sound Design. An RCA 14-inch color TV for $244. A Zenith 25-inch Chroma Color TV for $669. Did anybody realize that the Zenith TV cost that much money back then? That's a lot of money. You get the RCA console. What does that say? Stereo console with radio, phonograph, and 8-track for $259. This is 1974. More furniture. Corvettes. I guess they had a big presence at that time. I'd love to see some real. Here's some. Well, I guess these are real people. Look at that. Interesting. Tennis rackets. You can buy tennis rackets. Saturday. Oh, here you go. There you go. Look at those beautiful stereo consoles. Half price sale for the first time ever. $299 for an electrophonic 3-piece with a built-in 8-track. Right, look at that. What's that? An XAM. XAM. That's a brand. I guess XAM, was that their house brand? I don't know. $249 for a 19-inch XAM. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Or I mean, I don't even know. How would you say it? XAM? It's got to be XAM. I don't know. Also a Corvette special. Kaufman carpet. Ooh, there you go. Alexander's. Tires. Fishing rods and tires from the same store. Where is this? I don't know. Fire starter. Look at that. Label maker. Propane tanks. Dog bed. Isn't that what they're making old televisions out of today? You can get one for $8 back then. Here you go. Here's a nice deluxe clock radio. Alexander's was selling these Lloyd clock radios. All the way from $13.99 to $59.99. Wow. Cool. More furniture. Yeah, it's hard to believe Corvettes had so many ads in the paper. An 8-digit calculator. Look how expensive calculators were. 8-digit mini calculator with memory for $44. $59 for that beauty right there. The Answer Math. Is that what that says? Answer Math. It's a pocket slide rule. $59.99. Wow. More carpet. There you go. Look again, Corvettes. The Juliet. What about that beaut right there? AC and battery operation. Look at that hi-fi set. What is that? DYN? I don't even know. I have no idea. Complete 8-track stereo system. $100 gets you all that. How can you beat that? How can you beat that? I guess you really wouldn't want to beat that. Hey, look at that. Records. Every LP, cassette, cartridge, tape reduced. On these labels only. Climax Blues Band. What's that? Sly and the Family Stone. Bachman Turner Overdrive. Weather Report. What's that? Ohio Players. That's kind of cool. Maze. Maze has it for less. I guess they do. I guess they have something. I don't know. They must. They have to. It says it right there. They have to have it for less. And I bet you the savings are great as well. Unless you need a vacuum cleaner. What else? No, Bare aspirin was 75 cents. Ooh. What else? Hand Saver gloves. Ultra Bright toothpaste. 69 cents. More Corvettes. I guess they sold porch paint. Alkyd. That's funny. Alkyd. I guess an alkaline base. I don't know. Floor and deck enamel paint for $3.99. Remember these kind of screwdrivers? You remember those? What did they call those? The Yankee. Remember that's. I mean that's not a Yankee, but that's that same style. And these folding rulers. A drill. $10, $14. Alright, the case of the missing cook. What is this? Oh, the president resigns. Here's the main. Look at that. The centerfold right there. There it is right there. How cool, huh? The remarkable career of Richard Nixon. I guess it was... I was too young at the time to know any of this stuff, what any of this stuff meant, and I really don't care. I really don't care. What else? Just it wasn't, I can see it says right there, it wasn't a crime, it was just politics. Well, not for me to say. It's not for me to say. We all know what happened. The dollar rises sharply abroad. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. What is that? Nothing. Ann Landers. I remember Ann Landers. She must have been a little pup at this time. Little old New York. More Corvettes. Now they're selling dresses here. What's this? Queensbridge Park. Black films hit the tough life. Well, I don't know. The OJ's live at Avery Fisher Hall. Special guest, The Miracles. This is some good stuff. Together Brothers, I have no idea. His Flesh Gordon, that's funny. That's funny. Dance of Love, Seduction of Lynn Carter. Oh, that's funny. They advertise it in the paper. Alright. Yeah, some Clint Eastwood. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. The New York Experience. That's entertainment. Dumbo. These are the movies, huh? This is when people actually went to the movies. Herbie Rides Again. What's that one? Going Places. Clinic Girls. Spellbounding. Warren Beatty. What do we got here? California Split. The Mad Adventures of Rabbi Jacob. Frankenstein. I guess, yeah, this is, if you wanted to go to the movies, I guess you popped into this section and you could see when it was playing. Even had a 3D. That's, I didn't know the... I guess they did the... Ooh, that's an interesting 3D, actually. I guess they had their own versions back then. The Marx Brothers. Hey, oh, there you go. Trader Horn. TV and appliance must liquidate a huge stock. Famous maker air conditioners, television, stereo appliances. Many items will be sold at cost. 6,000 BTU air conditioner for $97. The air conditioner guy, wonder if you got that model right there. I don't know what it is, but there it is being sold new. Air conditioners. What do we got? Personal size color TV for $150. You can buy a 12-inch portable for $59. A well-built apartment-sized dryer. What else do they got? So they got a few different Fetters. The Fetters air conditioner. Fetters. That reminds me of the good old days, the old Fetters. Let's see, pick this up and get a little closer look at the Westinghouse. So we got a Fetters 5,000 BTU for $117. Can we see that? Where is it on there? Oh, it's above. Okay. Let me grab it this way. I'll get that in focus. $117 for the model CPO5 Fetters. A Westinghouse 9,000 BTU for $177. A famous 27,000 BTU for $299, model 277. The Deluxe 8,000. Here's another Fetters right there. Fetters 16,000 BTU model 16E7 for $266. And the Deluxe 5200 casement unit model 052C2E, $157. Look, we got some televisions. An RCA portable TV measured diagonally. It's measured diagonally. There's a 19-inch chroma color. Look how expensive comparatively the Zeniths were at the time. Wow, it's three times more money than the one above it. That's kind of crazy, huh? Zenith always made really great stuff. I always liked Zenith. Although you could never beat a Sony for their picture quality, but if you had the money, you know, the Sonys were the way to go. But the Zenith, even Zeniths were a lot easier to repair, and they just lasted forever. Most of them anyway. There were some pattern issues, but they were good sets. Anyway, let's go. Let's get back to the goodness here of the 1970s. 1974. All right. As Nixon quit, you can actually buy an air conditioner for $97 while Nixon was quitting. All right. Oops, I made a little hey, the crossword. The jumble. We'll have to do those. Betty Buys. I guess you can buy some Betty Buys at Bed City. What do we got here? Hey, look at this one. Can you see that at the bottom right? I'm going to pick it up here. This is before the controversy. That's OJ right there. He's donning his cleats for morning workout. This is 1974. Look at that. Chris Everett and her fiance Jimmy Connors. Wow. Look how young OJ was at the time. Kind of cool, huh? O.J. Simpson, 1974. Yeah, we're almost done here. I don't even want to look at that. Hey, look, there's a first car ad. The first car ad. But first, liquor and cigarettes. When was the last time anybody saw a cigarette ad? Alright, here you go. A Toyota Celica GT 5-speed, sex, power, prestige, and 25 miles per gallon. Does it say how much it cost? If you wanted to have all that sex, power, and prestige, what did you have to spend on one of these babies? It doesn't say. 25. Either way, I'm sure it's a beautiful car. I'll bet you there's still some of these running today. I wouldn't be surprised, especially with a standard transmission. Alright, what do we got? What's this? Bicycles. Look at that. $60 you can get a bicycle. Strauss stores. What is all this here? Speedy Dolphin, Amberjack. Something about Brooklyn. The town, you know, these were fishing boats, weren't they? Yeah, there's a fishing boat. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. All right, what? Ooh, Jeep. The Wagoneer. Look at that, Wagoneer. Let's check out some year-end taxi sale. A 1974 Coronet for $37.94. What is a Monaco? What's over here? Here's a Datsun, a 74 Datsun B210 for $2,500. Bay Ridge Motors, a Capri. Look at that, new Duster, 93 new 1974 Dusters, $99 over dealer cost. Oh wait, here's a Vega. Anybody remember the Chevy Vega? Brand new Vega. You can get $289 down, $16 a week. $16 a week. Or here you go, $31.95. Can you see that right there? 31. There it is, right there. $31.95 for a. Let's see. It's a. I guess they're Plymouth, right? Plymouth Satellite, Valiant, or Duster with an auto trans and a radio. Power steering, tinted glass. And I guess that's all you get. $31.95. You imagine buying a car today for $3,100. And these were some things. The Pinto. Look at that. $14.77 a week for a Pinto. A Pinto. Crazy, huh? Absolutely crazy. Coronet taxis. I guess that was a thing. Is that one page? That's one page. Potamkin. Why pay more if you can buy a Sedan DeVille? These are the Cadillacs. A Sedan DeVille for $6,634. A Fleetwood Brougham for $4,592. That's crazy, huh? These are Cadillacs. Get yourself a Cadillac for $6,000. What does a Cadillac cost today? I think it's a bit more than $6,000. Oop, let's see what else. We're almost done here. Chevys. Nice Chevy. You can get yourself a Cadillac or a Chevy. What else? The Economy Experts. What is that? Is that an AMC? Is that a... what is that? New York, New Jersey, and Southern Connecticut, American Motors. Yeah, it's American Motors. You can get a Gremlin. Its original price was $24.81. A Matador or a Hornet. How cool. I don't think you can get them anymore. What's that? Is that horse racing and stuff? I think that's it. It's going to be the last page here. What do we got? We got some tires. Some windows if you need your windows replaced. You can get some polyester. Look at that. This is the kind of tires that you could buy back then. Polyester, glass belted, steel belted, and radials. Some 4-ply nylon cord tires for 18 bucks. All installed for free. No trade-in required. This is Corvettes again. It's the 4 Great Tires sale. Low money saving Corvette prices. Anyway, that's it. That's the whole thing in the nutshell. That's the paper. Well, anyway, again, it's the 1974. This was a newspaper from Friday, August 9th, 1974. The New York Daily News. I thought it was kind of cool. I hope people watch this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if anybody wants to look through these New York Times, I guess this was September 12th, 2001. Kind of depressing. What was the other one? It was, I'm sure it was the 12th also. I don't see the date on this one, but I'm sure it was the 12th. I don't want to look anymore. Anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. So long. Bye-bye.